Hey there, Griff Hamlin here from Blues Guitar Unleashed. Welcome, thanks for joining me today. In this video, it's going to be a little bit different than it might appear. I'm going to show you a lick today. It's a pretty cool lick. I stole it from Eric Clapton, fair and square. It's a great lick. I'm only showing this to you, however, so that I can show you why you need to try it over a lot of different places before you really get it. I hear this a lot from students all the time. I see it all the time. I send them, a lick, they go home, they work on it, they come back the next week. As soon as anything changes, they can't use it. And I see that the problem over and over and over again is the lick maybe gets learned, I'll say, against the original recording or against a certain jam track or whatever. It gets used in one situation and one situation only. And then it's kind of discarded. My students just assume, and you might be in the same boat, you kind of just assume that, okay, I learned that lick, I'm going to be able to use it at a jam or over a song or whatever. And as you probably realized, that couldn't be further from the truth. It's not even close to how it works. Not at all. So let me show you this lick. It's a really cool lick. It's in the key of D in this case. So D minor pentatonic or D minor blues, which is box 1 at the 10th fret. I'm going to assume you're cool with that. We're going to start off, yes, it's going to start on beat 1. I know this is something I often advise against, but hey, if Eric Clapton did it, it's probably going to work out okay. So we'll take it. Sometimes it does happen. So we're going to take this 12th fret, the G on the 3rd string, bend it up. A full step, grab the D at the top, the C, bend that G up again. So we have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then we're going to basically do that same move again. 1 and 2 and 3 and now we're going to do it again. 4 and 1 and this time we're going to release on beat 2 and go down to the F, G, on beat 3, kind of do the finger roll down to the D on the and the 10th fret we're going to hit 10th fret on the 3rd string on beat 4. Okay, so it's all very basic stuff. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. 2 and 3 and 4 and of course you could very easily take that from some from there go where you want to go. That's not really what's important. I wanted to keep this fairly straightforward. My hope is that you'll be able to memorize this lick. Now that hopefully is not a dirty word. If you don't memorize a lick, how are you ever going to be able to use it in soloing? I know it's very easy, the tab becomes the crutch, right? You have to get off the music ASAP. I always tell my students, look at the music, right? Play it through a few times. As soon as you kind of feel like you're starting to get it, turn the page over, okay? Immediately turn the page over so you can't see it. Do as much as you can do until you feel like you're not sure what comes next. Turn the page back over. Look at where you are and continue. Don't start over. Okay, this is a huge practicing tip that I can give you. If you're constantly playing, the first 4 or 5 notes, and then, I made a mistake, and then go back to the beginning and play the first 4 or 5 notes. Messed up. Go back to the beginning, play the first 4 or 5 notes. If you're constantly doing that, you're going to get really, really good at the first 4 or 5 notes, and you are not going to practice the rest of the lick at all. We don't want that. If you play the first 4 or 5 notes and you're not sure what comes next, turn the page over and see where the 6th note is and what that one is, and go as far as you can go. That may be nothing by that point. It may be that you have to then read it from there on out. Then you got to read it through a few more times. But work to get it memorized as soon as you can. I'm going to try not to belabor that point any further. Okay, so what we're going to do first is I want to play this. It's a straight feel, okay? This is not a swing. So it's a a straight feel. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to get myself playing this against a chord, because hearing it against music is going to make a really, really big difference in your ability to remember what it sounds like and to recall that sound and know how to use it. Okay, so in this case, there's a D7 chord going on, right? So what I'm probably going to do is you can do, use like a looper. This is the looper is the easiest thing to do here, but I'm going to make it nice and slow. So instead of 1 and 2 and 3, which you might consider full speed, although truly there is no such thing as full speed. I could play this at a variety of tempos, and we will. I'm going to keep it nice and slow. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. That is not a fancy loop. It does not have to be a fancy loop. It just has to keep the time and give me the chord. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay? Now typically what I would do is I would just start it right over again. So I'd go 1, 3, 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and right again. 1 and 2 and right. I think you get the idea. I'm not gonna I won't belabor the point, but you can see I want to get used to playing it over a chord. Now I could just as easily, I could have played an entire blues right there, right? I could have played 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. And notice this is not some sort of fancy thing that I'm doing. 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 2, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the only reason I'm playing it a little bit faster is because this is a video. And I don't want you to have to wait on me playing, but I want you to see what I'm doing because I want you to be able to do this. 2 and 3 and 4 and... Hear what it sounds like over the 4 chord. Just keep playing it. Right? And I would just keep going and keep going and keep going. And I would get really comfortable playing it over and over, memorized. Doesn't matter the tempo. Like I said, I chose a little bit quicker tempo just for the sake of the video. But if this was brand new to me, I would probably have a very do just like a power chord. It doesn't matter. I would just keep it very slow and easy, something that you can easily keep up with. But when you get to that point, okay, that's the basic, I'll say basicest learning part of this whole thing. And unfortunately, it's where a lot of people stop. But it leaves out all the good stuff, okay? So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna start trying it over some different jam tracks. So I have a jam track right here. This is from a pack that I have called 5x5 Blues Jam Tracks. It is a blues rock, kind of straight, Albert King sort of blues rock, Jeff Healey, Albert King kind of blues rock thing, in the key of D, right? And there's 5 different keys on here. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to get something going with this kind of tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm just, again, starting over. And maybe I'll start here. I think I messed that up. Let me try it again. Okay, So that's the first thing that I'm gonna do. The next thing that I'm gonna do though is I'm gonna change the key. So for example, let's try it in the key of C. Now, changing the key, I'm literally gonna just do all the same finger movements. Okay, nothing is going to change. I'm just taking it from D down to C. Okay, so you can think of it this way. Imagine if I don't know where my fingers are, right? It really doesn't matter. Like I can fool myself. If I look at the tab and it says, put my finger at the 12th fret, I can just tell myself that's the 12th fret. Okay, I could put my hand down here and I could tell myself that's the 12th fret even though it isn't. It really, really doesn't matter. So if I go like to the key of C with my track, again, I shouldn't care. Okay, and that's fine. I could change it to the key of G, right? And I can do it either low or I can bring it up. Right, and either way, that's going to work. Okay, but obviously that is that's a straight feel. Can I put it in like a shuffle? Sometimes yes, sometimes not so much. Okay, the key to this is going to be if you look at the rhythm. Notice that I have no 16th notes here. I have all 8th notes or bigger, like 8th notes, quarter notes, right? Dotted quarters, halves, wouldn't matter. The difference between straight feel and swing feel is the fact that I'm dividing the beat into 2 pieces or 3 pieces. So if I have 16th notes in a straight feel, that's dividing the beats into 4 pieces. I'm not going to be able to handle that with a triplet feel. That's not really true. You can, it's just not something you want to do all day. It's something you got to use sparingly. So most licks aren't going to work that way. But there's no reason that I can't play this lick as a shuffle. So if I go, for example, to a shuffle feel jam track in D, I should be able to play it. And it works just fine. Right? Works just great. If I go to a shuffle in E, it should also work just fine. Or down here. And it'll all work, right? It's not a problem at all. As long as it's just 8th notes like that, I can move it to a shuffle feel. And that's really, really cool. Okay, that gives me a lot more mileage out of that lick, potentially. Now, anything I can do in a shuffle feel, I can theoretically also do in a slow blues feel, because the slow blues is also divided in 3. It's just gonna be a lot slower. 1, 2, 3, 4, and all right, so you can hear, it does work. It's a little bit slow, okay? That's maybe not so much what I would want to do. However, this is where a little bit of creativity starts to come into play. I could, for example, go back to that slow blues feel, and I could do it, I'll say like Johnny Winter style, where I just play it as a flurry. right? Or I could try and double it, right? So regular speed. Right, so I could kind of try to do it twice as fast. And like I said, this is kind of where some of your creativity is going to come into play. Okay, there's a lot of possible different ways that you might be able to shoehorn a lick in there, particularly over a slow blues or maybe a not very fast shuffle or even a straight feel. You might be able to kind of change things up. You might be able to do the whole thing twice as fast and turn it into 16th notes. And that might sound really cool. And it might not. I really don't know. But until you try it, you're never going to know. And what I want you to really get the hang of, and hopefully you'll get from this video, is you got to try it over lots and lots and lots of different jam tracks. Ideally, ones that are in the have the right chords, right? A lot of times, I know you can go on YouTube and look up jam tracks, and it say blues jam track, and it's not a blues. It's bluesy, but it's not a blues. So be careful about that. And obviously you want jam tracks that are good quality. So try to listen for stuff that sounds like it's actually got people playing. Those are the best. But you have to get a wide variety, and sometimes that's tough. Sometimes it's hard to get. You want some straight feel, you want some shuffle feel, you want some slow blues feel, you want different keys, you want different tempos, right? A shuffle could be 80 beats a minute, it could be 160 beats a minute, right? A jump blues could be pushing 160, 180 beats a minute. You can have a lot of different options in there. But if you take time when you learn a lick, and if you take time and you play it over all those different types of tracks, different feels, different speeds, different keys, you will get it down and you will be able to use it. But if you don't, I'm afraid the opposite is also true. It's probably not going to be there for you when you want it. So if this is something you struggle with, if you have perhaps guitar playing friends that struggle with this or have complained about it, you think this video would help them, I hope you will share it with them. As always, I'm Griff Hamlin from Blues Guitar Unleashed. Thanks for joining me today. Hope you dig the video. I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.